Good day, everybody. It's Max, and welcome back to InfraSpace the Cube. And it is the final episode, the final countdown. You betcha. And what are we counting down? How much information, population, and stuff can we actually get into this map for the final time? You betcha. In this case, we're going to be doing a full review of the map as we finish it up, and of course, we still have cubes to put in. Yeah, we still have some mini cubes to put in, and then we're going to start shoving stuff everywhere. We're going to start shoving stuff everywhere. We're gonna probably break the map, but it will be entertaining to say the least. So with that, let's see how we end up in the end after the big review. Let's get to it. And it's just another day here in the really big city. That's right. As this will probably be the final episode, we're gonna squeeze this city for everything it's got, and it's pretty brinkish at the moment. In fact, I just had to spend about 30-40 minutes fixing up a food problem. Several of the cubes are a little upset with their expansions and are running a little short on good meals. Now, again, these things will be run into as we go along, so of course this was no surprise. So right now the population's at 86,258. I know it was at 86,300 before I started seeing the food icons come up. So we'll probably get another 40 people back in. That being said, though, we're going to keep pushing on. First things first, we've got 3 mini cubes in front of us, and we're going to set those up. Will we get 4,000 out of it? It's going to be pretty tight. It's going to be pretty tight. Can we get to 90,000 with that? Hard to say. But we're gonna push it pretty hard. That's for sure. We're gonna try to get up to 90,000 with it. I mean, even if I got a little more than that, I'd be really happy. So that is the first things first. Obviously, we're gonna have to put some wonderful food items in for them. And let's get out of that view for a second, because that view is kind of scary. And we'll. So we're going to have to put in some good meals in for these guys. We got a little sulfur here. This is kind of a bonus. We'll definitely look into that. We have no VR education for them. I'm going to have to probably build at least something up here on the hill for that. And we're going to need at least one more home appliances and computers factory for that. I might have the spare capacity in robots, but unsure. I might also need 1 or 2 of those. And I mean, there's no more place to put any more up there, which means I would have to try and squeeze something down here, but there's no real copper down this way. All the copper's over there, right? It's all down this way. So... yep. I mean, there are some challenges, but I'm going to bring you back, obviously, for this one. And so this will be our first objective, is to get these 3 upgraded. Might try to shove a little bit extra back here, just to kind of push to make sure that we get to 90,000. And, set up some sort of neighborhood in here or something like that. So with that, let me get to work. So we're finally getting the expansion underway after multiple hours. I don't know what happened exactly. I did mention that I had to fix a few of the cubes due to food issues around the fine foods. And then they all fell apart from fine foods. I don't know if there was a patch or something that made everything go wonky. But I mean, even the original cubes that have had very little editing and anything of the matter, cubes that have been very balanced and very working very well for the past 2-3 weeks, suddenly all were short food. Everybody was short food, and of course, as you can see, it's very laggy to move across the map at the moment. But I am coming over here to have a look at this road tile, because there's a tile over here that says no road. Why don't you have a road? I think that's a lie. Yeah, do that. So I'm not quite sure what happened. It's strange that every single cube did some sort of recalculation, and every single cube started running out of food all of a sudden. Now, I've had to go through all the cubes and give them additional food resources, obviously, to bring them back on par. And then once I had that running for a while and seen that it was kind of stable, now I've gone actually to begin the expansion work. So as you can see, we're doing the expansion work. I've taken this third mini cube and kind of made it a little bit bigger, and I've also added on to cube 31 because it was easier to add on to cube 31 than it would have been to try and shuffle something onto this cube here in the this other mini cube. So hopefully we don't mess this one up too much, because of course this cube is attached to 8 other cubes. You know, it's crazy. So with that, I'm gonna let this play, and of course slowly build these up. Of course, everything I do now, right, is always comes with a high risk of crashing parts of the city, right? So with that, we're gonna keep building it up, and hopefully, well, you know, I was about to say, yeah, hopefully in a few hours it'll be perfectly fine. So I'll see you in a sec. Okay, finally got it finished. Whew, let me tell you. So, over on the right-hand side, Cube 31 has now been expanded, kind of like Cube 27, actually, which you can see just behind it. And, of course, we got a little extra people in there as well, along with the 32, 33, and 34 mini cubes, which we now have in the front. So the calculation would be 86 and a half, and then of course we have about 5,000 there. No, it was what was it, 83, and then I think we're gonna get 85, 86. 86 and a half, almost 87. The third mini cube would take us to about 88, almost 89,000. The extra on 31 would be just over 90,000. And then, of course, we can move on. So with that, I'm going to push the magical button, and boom, there we go. Yep, 99960. That's not right. Something's wrong there, people. It's not good. Well, actually, it's good. But obviously, 13,200 people did not fit into these 3 small cubes. I'll tell you right now. They did not fit into these cubes. Yes, 90,600 people did fit into these 3 mini cubes and the little extension on 31. But obviously, that would have left us about 10,000 short on where I wanted to go, which of course would have been 100,000. And as you can see, we actually have enough housing for 100,004 people. And of course, I wanted to bring you back for this occasion. So I just hit the 100,000 mark for the housing, and I paused it up, and I thought, you know what, I will bring you back for this part. But obviously, where are we putting these people? Because there's another 10,000 people here. Where did we put them? So obviously, we have a few more cubes. And as I strain really hard, yup, strain really hard now, people. It's straining really hard. Oh, yeah, turn, keep turning. There it is. Yep, cubes 35 and 36 up here on the hill beside the power plant. They're a little bit wonky cubes, but hey, you know what? It was going to get wonky towards the end no matter what you did. And, of course, the only trick to these cubes is that they're level 5 cubes. They're not level 6. And that is that's tricky. That is a tricky thing, right? Because, of course, when you're not pushing level 6, this is a problem that you have, right? We have to maintain an average of 5.90. And, you start putting in cubes that don't get to level 6, well, the average will start to drop. Now, I had pushed these to almost 91,000. Thanks, Lag, for everything. Because these have been pushed to about 91,000. So let's say there's like 5,000 level 6 buildings. okay, and you have 500 level 5 buildings. Well, okay, when you have five level 6 buildings and you add one to it, well, then that drops your average significantly. When you have 5,000 level 6 buildings and you go to put on some level 5s, your average barely moves. So we have hundreds of level 5 buildings before we started hitting this moderate level. And that is cubes 35 and 36, by the way. But where are we going now? I'll tell you where we're going. Oh, yeah, cube 37. Now, cube 37 is a level 6 well, it's a combination level 6 level 5 cube. And I don't even I guess we would call this one a triangle. It's not really a cube. It's more of a triangle. And that's just really because of all the space back here, right? So this part of the city on the left is level 6, and I had to push this to level 6 to keep this average above 590 until the very end. But you will notice here there's one-way roads for here, and down here. Now the way this works is all levels 1 to 5 items are being made on the right-hand side. Okay, so everything's like home appliances, yep, computers, right, home robots, their standard, the standard food, all that stuff is all being made on the right-hand side. So the only thing that can get to the left-hand side, and that is after this arrow, is VR education. Okay, so the VR education can go anywhere on this side of the triangle it wants, but it can't get over to this side of the triangle because the highway joins in after this one-way road. But everything from level 1 to 5 can get over to the left side so as they could get the level 6. So this I mean, there's the trickery, people, the trickery that goes on. So obviously I have brought you back. We want to go just a little bit more, I don't know. Do we, are you guys not within a park? Are you not recognizing this park? No, you're not recognizing the park. Why? Oh, and the reason is because you can't get to that park, because of course of the one-way roads. That makes perfect sense, actually. What? Sense? We don't do sense here. So we got to put in a few more houses. Now, if I let these houses fill up, they would get to 10,000. But we'll stick in a few more houses here anyway. And, of course, just to kind of do that. And, of course, what we'll do now is we're going to actually let this level up. Of course, looking at the city, you know what? Let's see if we can't get a good, decent angle on this city. Well, I kick this all into high gear. This is going to choke it out, right? I mean, that's what it does. It literally will lose its mind. Yep. Let's turn it this way. Come on, turn this way a little bit. That's it. Come on. I know, game. It's been a painful 2 weeks, game. It's been a painful 2 weeks, and I know it's been hard. It's been very hard for you, but the end is near. The end is so near. You know what? That's actually a pretty good view. I mean, literally, all you can see, as far as the eye can see, is just a big bunch of city over there. And if I hit this fast forward button, actually, if we just hit the play button in general, we should see some cars moving. I mean, it's all very laggy. Now, of course, obviously, the city, producing methane gas throughout the entire city. Of course, we do have the occasional factory that takes that gas and turns it into power for us. But those all run short every once in a while and stuff. But I'm not worried about those icons. Trust me, we are too far into this thing to worry about a few gas icons now. As long as the cubes don't fall apart, I'm okay with it. I'm all right with it. Let me zip this along here for you, and what we'll do is as soon as we get to 100,000 people in the game, of course I'll stop the zipping of the things, and I'll then keep talking. And there it is, 100,001 person. You betcha. As the city continues to keep going. I mean, we could keep going a little bit more. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause this now because moving around the map, I mean, moving is just hard. Moving at all is just hard. But let's have a look at a few things here. So first of all, I could keep adding to over here to keep pushing this. Probably get another. Oh, I'd probably get another good 300 people out of this corner here. As you can see, I have the space for them. I've kind of been prepared for them the entire time. Oops, extra house. Sorry. Yep, my bad on the extra house. So we could probably squeeze another 300 people here. And, that's fine. Let's move up here a little bit. Right to here. So you'll notice here, this is a block of level 4 options. And again, I could push this. I could put housing in here. But now that our average is sitting at about moderate, this is where things would start to slow down and filling out, right? So I did prepare this if I actually needed it, but it turns out I have not needed it. So I could, but I could put another, I would say another couple hundred people in there. So we can, 101,000, but I think, we pushed it pretty hard. Now, over here, by, what is it, number 21? I do have a neighborhood of level 4 housing in already. There they are. Look at that. See? So there is a level 4 housing in over here. And again, these would hurt the average, right? Because now these the highest these can get is level 4. So unless I was going to put in a stadium, give them some home robots and some good meals. Now we could push these to level 5. That would help my average a little bit, right? This might push it to 591. But at this point in time, we're probably pretty good anyway. We're not too concerned about it. You know what? That red symbol's been driving me crazy. There, it's gone. So, bye-bye. So this is actually I call this part of Cube 21 because it's really using a fair amount of 21's corner. And at the same time, kind of filled 21 out a little bit. So let's have a look at the actual areas themselves. We'll go through the cubes, the 3 main areas, of course, which allow these cubes to run and function, and of course wrap this one up. So let's go have a look at a cube. So let's go all the way down here to cube 1. And yep, there we go. It's not too bad if you just stare straight down. All right, so here is cube 1. And of course, the cubes in general hold a little over 2,600 people apiece. And of course, they work on the concept that, we have 1 stadium, 4 parks, right? So we have the 1 stadium, we have the 4 parks. I believe there's 9 or 8 schools, and so that works out well. That's filling all their 100% needs. Okay. Attached to the left side of each cube is their necessary need of food, which of course we had started off with 3 food processing factories, but we needed 4 for the good meals. It turned out a little later. Don't know what happened. Again, I don't know if a patch changed that or if something weird happened with it, but whatever it did, it did a thing. It did a thing, and it's a thing. So, what can you do when you live in a shoe? But of course, on the bottom side is our water requirements for each cube, and on the top is the oxygen requirements for each cube. And of course, we can check on those by looking at the tanks of each one. Of course, seeing how it is that we're doing, and if we're getting enough stored, enough pumped, enough inflow and outflow. Okay. Now, of course, some of the cubes are a little wonky because of just how it turned out. So, of course, we had built probably a dozen cubes normally. And then, of course, we started trying to squeeze in the extra spaces. So like here, for example, cube 5, right? We added on this this corner to it because, one, it had a little chip out of its corner, but then we gave it this over here to kind of balance that out a little bit. Of course, as we continued on, we got in our basically the first 15, the first 3 rows kind of went pretty straightforward, 15 cubes, and overall, pretty good overall. And then, of course, we did run into the center of the map. Of course, it was going to get a little squeezy in here, so this row has like a 2.5. But again, we made things work, and of course, cube 20 did get in there. This is also where we also brought on the mini cubes, so 16, 17, and 21. The mini cubes, of course, are just smaller versions of the bigger cubes, which to fit into these 3 patches on this hill that kind of work to our needs, right? So we made them work, and that's good. Of course, after the 3 mini cubes and that row of 22 and 23, which of course this was the skinniest part of the map, we then come into the next part, which of course allowed us to kind of expand back out, and cubes 24 to 27. 27, when we did its expansion, we gave it a lot of extra. It really kind of bloomed out. And then, of course, cubes 28, 29, 30, and 31, same deal. 31 kind of got a little bit of an expansion. I think 28 kind of got a little ripped off, yeah, because of this minor stone in here. So it is what it is. It all balances out. And then, of course, we had just enough room to put in 3 more mini cubes here in the end. And then, of course, now we have these. I was going to call them zones. I was going to call them zones A, B, and C. But, I mean, we've been running with cubes since the very start, and it just wouldn't be right. I mean, we have some funky, quirky-looking cubes, and, the premise is still the same. I mean, the cubes are still the cubes. So, of course, we do have 35, 36, and 37 as the autosave is now kicked in. Thanks, autosave. Can always count on you. Yeah, there's autosave. Thanks. Now, obviously, to feed these cubes, obviously the 3 auto resources, the AOE resources of the stadium, the schools, and the parks are fine. The food is automatically attached to each cube, so we don't have to worry about those, and so is the water and oxygen. So this left 3 factory types that we needed to handle to make sure that each cube got supplied. The first one was the home appliance computer factories, and I am trying to make my way down here to the start. Here we go. So here we are. These are the older style, slightly older style makes of the combination home appliance computer factory. That being said, what I learned out of these, of course, was that I over-engineered them a little bit. They always seem to have a lot of extra, and so that's kind of a thing I'll keep in mind. Will I ever build a city this big again? I don't know. It's hard to say. I have no plans to do so anytime soon, that's for sure. But this is the first combination factory. I will have a look at a better one here shortly. It's better. The more modernized version of these are towards the end of the map. Of course, as we built along, we kind of fine-tuned them, made a little more, condensed them a little bit, got more space out of them, that kind of thing. So, of course, this is the first combination factory that we would plug into a cube, and you notice that each cube got one of these at the start. But later on, we were able to discover that you could probably do 5 cubes for every 4 of these, and in fact, you could probably do 5 cubes out of every 3 of these, because as you can see here, we do end up having some factories with like all kinds of extra in them. Yeah, I've stretched these ones out pretty far. I'm actually pretty happy about that. But yeah, see, like that one still has 28 in it, and that's because this cube, of course, doesn't attach to as much stuff. So in that case, that is our first factory. The second mini factory to attach to a cube was robots, and we have all kinds of robots. Robots. It's robot central, people. Robots. This whole side, this whole area here became literally robots. And this actually worked out really good. This worked out really. This design, I never changed it from day one. Day one, this design worked out good. It didn't need to be checked or anything like that. It was just a really nice design, and it's very compact, dense, and allows you to get, actually, it makes enough robots that it can probably do like a cube and a third. So I was able to get, like, for every 3 factories, you were able to get like 4 cubes to work. It actually worked out pretty good. I must admit, these robot factories worked out really, really good. And then, of course, the third factory to make this all run was VR Education. Now, in this case, I have actually updated these. These are more updated designs. So these were my first factories, and they had an older design where they were using double the nanotubes and double the carbon and all that stuff. And that was because of the water problems we had at the start. In the start of the water update, with all the water problems and the cutbacks and all that stuff, but they of course fixed much of that, and then of course we were able to redesign these to be more efficient. Now, these are basically almost a 1-to-1 ratio to a cube. In fact, if I had to give it a number, I would say it's like 1.2. So you're not gonna be able to get, like, you're not gonna be able to build one of these and do 2 cubes, right? One of these factories will do a little over, I would say, about 2,800 people, and of course a cube does about 2,640 people. So yes, if like once every, I don't know, 8-9 cubes, you could probably throw a cube in and get some free VR for it, but they are pretty squeaky. That's for sure. But they worked good. The size of these compared to a cube worked out just fine. And yes, you'll notice here that there are a few of them here that have some extras in them, but it is few and far between. It is few and far between for these guys to have extras because they do run so narrow. So that is our 3 factories, and of course we had set up the initial rows of VR education up here on this hill. So I think there's 6 of them up there. Yeah, so the 6 of them handle the first row and a change, and then the rest of VR was all done on the other end. So on the left side of the map, looking at, well, okay, let's turn the map around this way, because if we're actually considering this to be the first row. So on the right side is all robotics, except for them 6 VRs. On the far bottom here, of course, is the first home appliance and computer factories. And of course, on the left was the continuation of VR education, and of course, more computer home appliance combination factories. So we would go up the left-hand side. You'd have your combination factories for the computers on the left. We had VR. Keep moving on down this way as well, and of course, as you can see, the computer factories and stuff all work their way in through the rocks and the trees and the things. Man, it was crazy to work all this in here. And the end of it, we still had more than plenty. Like, look, there's lots of factories here that have lots of stuff in them. I could probably keep pushing home appliances and electronics all day, and it would be fine. So with that, of course, we're gonna have a quick look at the world from this angle, and of course, the more you do this, the more it slows down to a point where it literally chokes itself out. It is pretty bad. It is pretty bad, people. But we're going to back this up here just a little bit. I am going to get you a few more shots, but to do those shots, we're going to go into camera mode, and because the camera is literally losing its mind due to all the lag, I'm going to take a quick cut here to show you how it all looks from a different angle, up in space a little bit, but I won't do that. Like, I'll take the cut here, and we'll transition the screen over just so as it doesn't hurt your eyes so bad, because let me tell you, it hurts. It hurts when you mess up the camera. It hurts so much. There's so much pain involved. So this is what a 100K city shoved into a bunch of rock looks like. That's for sure. So, with that, let's take the cut here, and we'll have a few other looks at a few other angles before we wrap things up. Okay, so here is an entire view of the entire block from the upper left-hand corner of the map. So obviously I'm saying, or the upper right-hand corner of the map. So obviously in the far distance would be the bottom of the map, and if you were looking up the map, this would be the top of the map, and this would be your right-hand side, and of course Cube 37, which is barely in the screen over, well, to our right. But if you were looking up the map, of course, this would be the right-hand side of the screen looking up the map. Looking at this way, of course, it's the left side. Hey, I like to try and confuse everybody just to keep everybody on their toes. As you can see the numbers of the cubes in the far distance for most of them. Of course, the ones that are turned sideways. I could probably turn them sideways so you can see a little bit of them cool numbers. But in this particular case, there's a nice looking shot of the entire 100K city. And there is a little bit room there. I mean, if you really wanted to try and squeeze another 1,000 or maybe 2, there is a little bit of room in there somewhere to do that. Let's see if I can't find you a couple more good angles. Okay, so this is a really cool shot. This is actually from the top of a mountain. I know. So like what I've done is I've set the camera on top of one of the mesa pillars, and it's the one in the lower right-hand corner. So I am actually now back to the bottom of the map. So over here on the left-hand side is Cube 1, well actually Cube 0 and Cube 1. And right in front of us, of course, is all the robotics factories, right? The home robots factories. And of course, then the rest of the city is going off in the far, far distance. But I am actually on top of one of them big mesa mountains like you see in the far distance there, which is actually really cool because it's kind of like you've climbed to the top of this mountain as one of the colonists and you are now overlooking the mega city of 100,000 people and all the things that it takes to run it. And this is a pretty cool view. So with that, of course, one more view. We'll do one more view, and then we're going to talk about wrapping up the series, talk about the next one, the whole 9 yards. And of course, to wrap things all up, the standard mandatory overhead shot of the entire city. And yes, unfortunately, it's a little hard for me to get Cube 37 in, and that's just the way the map is shaped and the whole 9 yards. But I believe we have all. Well, I mean, you do kind of see the far. Well, you can't really see it just because that's all VR education up there. But the other 36 are on the map, and of course, as you can see, it's quite the sight to behold. Squeezing in 100,000. So what are we doing? What are we doing on the next one? We're not doing the next one of the Cube. This is the wrap-up of the Cube series, and I want to thank everybody for watching this. It has been an adventure to get 100,000 people on a map, and it's been intense. It's very intense. But what are we doing for the next series? Well, obviously, they are working on the biome upgrades, and I would think that they might come out late August into early September, some time frame, and that's fine. Like with all games, you need a little break from them every once in a while to kind of recharge the batteries. I've got several other series always on the go, so I've got other things to take care of as well. And of course, when we come back, we'll have a new series on their new biomes, right? And that should make for a very entertaining time. Now, am I going to put 100K on one of the biome maps? No, I think this time I'm just going to get a nice map, play with the new biome settings, play with the new buildings, and I mean, don't get me wrong, we're gonna shove some people on it. Right? We're not gonna just do like a little like a little corner of the map or something. I mean, we're gonna make some things happen on the next series. But I've done my 100K. It's kind of like the benchmark of what you do, right? And of course, so we'll figure out what we're going to do with them biomes once they arrive, and I'll come up with a catchy name for it, because that's what I do, right? That's what I do. I have the catchy names for all my InfraSpace series. I'm Max. This, of course, has been InfraSpace Cubed, where we took a design and we shoved 100,000 people into it. and it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool looking. I want to thank everybody for watching, and of course, I hope you stick around to watch all my other series and stuff, and tools, tips, and some tutorials and other things I'll have coming out as always. And I will see you on the next one. Take care.